Well, if you saw that, then you probably got the hint. I traded in my 2015 Mustang GT S550 with heated cooled seats, leather, it had all the bells and whistles, for a 2007 Shelby GT500. Now, this GT500, it's almost like new. It's only got 30,000 miles on it when I bought it. So, and it's a Shelby. So I kind of made the deal. And here she is. Let me turn on, put some light on the situation. Got the GT500 badge. The hood vents. This is called tungsten gray. It's got stripes all across it. It's got the SVT wheels, which are, they're 18s, not like 20s I had in my last, but they're super wide in the back. They're 285 in the back width, and I think the front is 245. Oh, sorry, a little press for space, and there's the fake gas cap snake on there. Shot of the wheels. And the previous owner, he put suspension and lowering springs on it in different struts, and it turned out nice. I replaced the I replaced the front splitter because, well, partially it was a little nicked when I got it, but then I was so used to my last car just being able to drive up to a parking block. It would go right over the parking block, but maybe because this is lowered and my last one didn't have such an aggressive splitter, so I kept dinging it, so I ordered another one. And now I got a front and rear camera. I got a front camera just for that purpose. And here's the interior. This is the red and black interior. It's kind of cool. I added these mats. I don't know if you can see that. There's snakes on the mats with the red piping. And some back seats for show. Now, they only made, in this year, with the black and red interior, they only, and with this tungsten gray color, I Googled it, and they made like 51, and that was it. And the other ones, they made thousands of. So this is pretty rare. It's the lowest production number for that year as far as color scheme goes. So that's good. Of course, in 2008, 2009, they made more. Oh, and also, it's got this Shelby plaque. And the interesting thing about this is, I mean, this car had the original owner's manual and a nice leather pouch with a snake on it. And inside, it has a document that says, basically, of authenticity, that this is actually Carroll Shelby's real signature. And he signed this plaque. So that's pretty cool. Now, it's old school. It's 2007, so it's got a 6-disc CD changer. I actually added this for my backup camera. Of course, you need radar detector. And the steering wheel has some nice snake accents on it. I'm going to show you what the lighting looks like on the inside. It's pretty cool. So, like most and this thing, it's just like one of them idiosyncrasies of the older cars. It's always trying to switch. It's a 6-disc changer, and it beeps. All right, so turn it on. It's got the old AC. You just, not like my last one with all push button things and a big screen here. It doesn't have that. Now, this is interesting because, look, red, white, and blue color scheme. And it's got a boost gauge up there, your fuel gauge, your oil temp gauge. Now, I don't know if that's the best spot for a boost gauge, because honestly, when I'm getting on it, I'm looking up here. I'm not looking at this. And there's even a setting where you can set a shift tone at whatever RPM range you want. And whoops. Oh, and it's a 6-speed manual Tremec TR6060, and it feels amazing. It's very sturdy. Pretty short throw. And this thing has torque in every gear. So, oh, take this out. Now, pop the hood. Now this thing doesn't have memory seats, heated cold seats, the nice touchscreen like the newer Mustang that I had. But I mean, you know, it's a GT500. Now this year, they got I think it's a Eaton root style blower. Hold on, I'm gonna pop the hood real quick. It has this Eaton, whoops, this is the blower here. I put the 2.5 inch supercharger pulley on it, and there's a bigger idler pulley to make up for any belt slack. And it's got the strut tower brace, and this is a PMAS cold air intake, so I'm getting more air into that nice supercharger. Now, this thing is a shitty fit, PMAS. I don't recommend it. I mean, it's barely, just the fitment was horrible. But it's one of the only ones that have a carb number, and because I live in liberal California, they have to be like certified, carb certified, even though they don't do crap to hurt emissions. So this one came with a carb number. I got it in my glove box, so I'll pass inspection. Oh, and I added, this is a nice fuse box metal cover with a snake, and spark plugs are under here. Oh, I gotta, yeah. Now, I did the plugs. I put colder plugs in, NGK 8 something, because when you increase boost with the lower pulley, they recommend it. And the rubber coil packs that you go over top of the plugs, they're super loose in this car. But I think when I put this down, it's kind of helping hold them down. But I may replace those later. Anyway, here's the signature of the engine builders, so that's pretty cool. SVT stands for Special Vehicle Team. They changed over to Ford Performance now, right here. So GT500 here. All right. Oh, something else that's really neat is this has a Shaker 1000 system. It's supposed to be 1,000 watts, and it's got a huge subwoofer in the trunk. Now they don't do this anymore. They put like a little subwoofer off to the side in the trunk because maybe they want some trunk space. But check out the size of this. It's 2 big speakers, well, big subwoofers. Now it does take up quite a bit of trunk space, so, but it really thumps. It's like you don't need to upgrade the stereo system. It's very clear. Even the speakers in the doors, they vibrate with bass, and so, and I just love it's got, you know, the older taillights. They sell aftermarket taillights. Oh, and I got window tint on it. So now the headlights that come with this model were halogen. I had to replace those because they weren't too bright. But I'm gonna go ahead and close the hood and start her up so we can hear the Oh, and the previous owner put a Borla catback exhaust on it. I don't know what kind of Borla mufflers they are, but I like them because they're not too loud, and it has really good supercharger whine, especially with the pulley and the intake. And it's like, I don't want a loud exhaust. It's going to cover up that nice whine. All right, hold on. So, okay, I'm gonna start her up for a little bit. That hissing sound, that's the sound of the cold air intake. Isn't that cool? So that's how you know it's working. Shut this down. So I had to get the Shelby stuff in the garage. There's the slingshot parking only. This is Mustang parking only over here. Shelby. And my helmet collection for the slingshot. I love toys. Midlife crisis. So that's the 2007 GT500. Now, sometimes they get a bad rap. This one, Carroll Shelby actually, when they unveiled it, he actually helped introduce it. There's a YouTube video out there if you Google 2007 GT500 reveal or Carroll Shelby. He talks about it. I guess, you know, he drove it, and I think he had a hand in, you know, giving some input on it. Now, this one came with only 500 horsepower at the crank, not at the rear wheel. Rear wheel is more like 440. Now, that really doesn't mean much, because if you replace this pulley, and there's another lower, it's called a balancer type pulley, it brings you up to 600 horses with a tune and all. So, and that's about, they say these engines are kind of maxed in the 600 horsepower. The blower is. It's maxed out in 600 horsepower range, but you can replace the blower. The new one, the one from the 5.8 liters, I think 2013-14, come with a bigger blower, and a lot of people put that blower on. But I'm probably gonna stick with stock because I'm trying to in a budget now. So, but there she is. I love the engine. I mean, and the snakes. Now, it doesn't have the creature comforts, so if you're used to a backup camera and all that, you can add one. So, but I was like, I can't live without a backup camera. Hold on, let me shut this hood. All right, nice vents. And the color, it's darker than this, but it kind of matches the slingshot a little. So here it is. That's my brand new painted bumper from my last Mustang that I never got a chance to install because I traded it. Snakes. Yeah, this is just like my last Mustang, except I put gold stripes on it. So it was a pretty car, but these hold their values. Another thing, when these sold new, they were in the 40s, in '07. They keep going up. The 11s and 12s are better because they got, I guess they're called wide bands for engine tuning, and you can really tune them really good. This doesn't have the wide bands, and the newer ones have an aluminum block. This has an iron block, but iron blocks are stronger, even though they're heavier, so I figured it could take more abuse. This is a 5.4 liter V8, and it's a 32 valve. I think it's 4 cams, so yeah, it's pretty high tech. It's the same engine that they put in the Ford GT, in 2006 Ford GT, except I think the Ford GT might have had an aluminum block, so you're getting all that power. So, but there it is. Yeah, I'm a little paranoid because these wheels, they're actually not scuffed or anything, and they're original wheels. And I looked at them online. You can buy replicas, but they're super pricey, so hope I don't get any road rash, too much road rash on them. Here, I'll open up the passenger side. Now, the passenger sides, there's my mask, of course. I got the nice mat. It's not as luxurious. Well, it's still leather, but it's the seat's a manual seat, and it's kind of low. It doesn't go up and down, so it kind of feels like you're sitting in a hole if you're short. So that's the thing. And these door panels, they get a little loose. So a lot of people have to replace those. But I'll take a driving video so you guys can hear the supercharger whine and all that stuff. So, but yeah, this is, get another shot of the interior. Now, I know the shift knob's not pretty. And there's the Carroll Shelby part, which is, and I like these round vents. Like the newer ones have square vents. Well, they switched back to round, but they made them with square vents from 2010 to 2014. The center vents were square, and I think, you know, the round looks much better. So, all right. So, hit me up in the comments if you have any questions or anything like that. If you know, I mean, I use American Muscle, CJ Pony Parts, late model restoration, for most of my, and VMP. I guess they're the best. They sell you that pulley, and they sell a tool to take the old pulley off and put the new one on. It's pricey though, but you know, the VMP is like really good if you have GT500. I think they initially made the smaller supercharger pulley for these, and they made them look like stock. They don't look like aftermarket, which is nice. So yeah, and then of course it's too cold, so I got to hook to a battery tender, but this is a lot of fun. The slingshot. Yeah, I haven't put out content for a while, so I figured I'd, you know, get the slingshot in too. All right, so that's the 2007 GT500 with only 30,000 miles on it. It's going to be my daily commuter though, so these Joe Biden gas prices are crazy. Out here in Cali, it's like $4 and between $4 or $5 a gallon, and because I have to put in, they only go up to 91 octane here, but I have to put in 91 octane. So thank you, far left, for the crazy gas prices. But hey, I guess I'm in, what do you call it, denial of the whole electric car thing, because I just picked up a 5.4 liter V8. So, and it doesn't do too bad. It only gets maybe 200 miles to the tank if you don't flog it too much. So between 13 and 20, they say. But my last Mustang, the 5 liter, I mean, if I remember, I was only going like maybe an extra 20 or 30 miles per tank. over this. And another thing about these, if you buy one, when you're filling up your tank, you know, there's no lock on these or anything, but the fuel tank, the gas pump kept cutting off in the middle of fueling, and it wasn't even, it would do it like right when it's at a half tank, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I Googled, and I guess it was a problem with these S197 Mustangs in general, where there's some kind of carbon filter that's in the fuel system, and I guess it's something to do with the air. It's like, that's how the pumps click off. If the air pressure, it senses like the air pressure. Anyway, I won't get into it. So I had to take I took like a hose and blew out the air part of the lines, and it fixed it for one fill up. Second fill up, same thing. So, but if you hold the nozzle upside down, it pumps. I think because it's not, you know, it's maybe releasing some of the air. But so I gotta fix that. I don't know what the deal is there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yep, I traded in a 15 for a 07. So, but oh, another thing about this, the solid axle. When I bought my 15, that's the first year in the IRS for Mustang, and it was like, because they started selling in Europe, that's the story behind that. And Europe, you know, I guess they required it to be IRS, or they wanted to compete with the European cars. Anyway, long story short, this solid axle, especially with the suspension work this guy did to it, it hooks way better than the IRS. Yeah, it's gonna ride rougher, but it doesn't ride too bad, you know. I mean, of course, when you hit speed bumps, the whole ass end goes up, but it just feels more raw and more like a muscle car. And the clutch is super heavy, and the clutch on my last Mustang was super light. And my last Mustang was a manual, but it had the Chinese, they call it an MT82, and it's super sloppy feeling shifter, and it felt like real flimsy. And this Tremec is amazing. It just shifts really. It's super notchy, and everything takes more effort in this car. It's like, it's not as easy to just lay back like my last car. I mean, you can still use it as a daily, but you know, your leg's gonna get tired if you're in and out of traffic because the clutch is super heavy. But you know, it's worth it. It's one of the things. You know, I like the muscle car feel. So I'm not a fan of the new IRS, even though solid axle's antiquated. If you drive this back to back with a new Mustang, you're probably gonna like this better for a straight line anyway, because it feels great. All right, well, I think I gabbed enough, and I'm gonna close the video out with a little. Oh, these are the new GT500s. It's like the same color as mine. Oh, and the new ones, they're not a manual, as most of you know. So it's like, you know, I have a manual, and it's the Tremec 6-speed. So the manuals are basically going away. The new Mustangs have a freaking knob. It's a great transmission they have. It shifts quick, but you know, you don't get that feeling of involvement with the vehicle. And this also, I don't think it has electric steering. I think it has like a steering pump. So you feel more connected to the road. The new ones have electric steering, and my last Mustang, it was newer. You can set the steering for sport and comfort to make it a little stiffer, but you felt disconnected all the time. You know, you can tell it feels more artificial than having a, I guess, hydraulic steering. So, all right, well, you guys take care, and these are my Mustang collections, and I'm going to close out with this shot.